In this video, I might be rebuilding my workshop. Since I started doing this woodwork thing for the past 3 years, I've rebuilt my basement every year to try and make things better. A few simple ideas, and I think to myself, I'll only take a couple of weeks. Then those simple ideas turn into problems, turn into bigger ideas, and suddenly it's taken 3 months. And in all that time, I'm not making content for YouTube, and being consistent is key. So this year, I decided not to rebuild my basement, get straight into the content, and just do a few adjustments here and there, until my basement developed a flooding issue. It's been ongoing for a few months now. It is a small, consistent leak which has been running down the right side of my workshop. Luckily, my issue has now been solved, but the company are sending someone out to clean this entire area, which means I have to dismantle everything around here. And because this problem's been going on for so long, there's a very serious mold issue that has just got out of control now. And that means there's a lot of my benches that I'm gonna have to dismantle, get rid of. It is so bad that I'm gonna have to dismantle probably most of this bench over here. I'm gonna have to check every piece of wood, even my scrap wood storage. I'm gonna have to go through that because I'm probably gonna have to throw some of that away. Ugh. And it's really annoying because I'm halfway through a really fun project that I've been trying to get done for 2 years as well. I'm gonna start by tidying the basement. This side of my workshop is now fully dismantled, but I can't do anything with it until the water company fix the leak over there and decontaminate this entire area. Whilst I'm waiting for that to happen, I'm gonna have a go at solving the mold problem. And I'm gonna start with the shelf I just dismantled. Some of the pieces were okay, I've already stored them, but I've kept them separate from my store just in case. Some of the pieces are terrible and they were actually stood in the contaminated water, so I'm just gonna bin them. And then some of them have got mold, but they look all right, so we're gonna try and save them. I was talking to my friend Jack and he suggested bleach and water. I like that idea because I don't have to buy anything. Gonna leave the bleach and water for a couple of weeks to give it a real test, and I'm gonna go work on another video and then I'll be back soon. This video has taken an unexpected twist. My basement's flooded. It was fine yesterday evening, came home tonight and almost everything was underwater. Brown water as well, and that is not from the rain. So I've been cleaning the majority of it out. This has actually dried out a little bit, but yeah, my workshop is a swamp. And I'm in the process of fixing my snowboard bag because I go away in 2 days. That's just even more stressful. All right, so what was my point? I'm gonna carry on just in case this does become a video. So I was testing the bleach thing. That was about a week ago. That seems to be working. Just finished the cable box video. I don't know what's going to happen now. There's obviously a serious problem. I don't know how long it's going to take. I go on holiday tomorrow. There's nothing I can do to stop it, so I'll deal with it when I get back.
We're making up, we're breaking up. I don't know why. I know you've been fooling around. You better watch out, you better watch out. Why you gotta do me like that? Why you gotta do me like that? Why you gotta do me like that?
I'm back from holiday and my workshop is still covered in shit. This is what's going on. So, the original leak started under my table over there. It's been gradually getting worse over the past 3 months. That is coming from the pipe that comes out of my bathroom and into the path, and then down there, and just below that, it's broken where it joins the sewer. About 10 feet over that way, that path has now collapsed. And I'm pretty sure that is what's caused all this. The water company have been out to investigate the collapsed path and have said it's nothing to do with them, the sewer is absolutely fine. They are still coming out to fix that, but they told me that 4 weeks ago. But the slabs in my basement are actually starting to lower. One of them's almost collapsed there, so I don't know if that needs fixing. The collapsed path has now been handed over to the council, and I don't know what they're going to do there. So this could be my last video for a while. I honestly don't know how long it's going to take, and I can't justify kicking turds out the way just to make a YouTube video. Like, I'm going to have to throw these shoes away now, I know that.
At this point, I'd really given up, so I started filming an outro. I was that fed up that I didn't even edit the video. And then suddenly I got some good news, which gave me some hope.
Right, I don't know where I'm up to with this. It's been about 3 or 4 weeks since I've been down here, but the water company have told me that's now fixed. Now, they did say they were going to come down and clean everything for me, decontaminate it, but there's still loads of water down there. So I'm going to clean the floor myself to establish if there is another issue. And if there isn't, I can start rebuilding the workshop. So now I'm going to dismantle that and clean all this.
Did you cry when I found you in the night?
There's still mould on some of these pieces, but it looks different to the mould I was trying to kill originally. So I think I'll give bleach and water another go. But there could also be something on the table because it feels really slimy.
I should have known. There's still no place, sealed our fate, buried in the catacombs. Setting fire to the life we made. Such a fucking waste of time. Said you love me till my heart decays. Kiss my darling.
If you've watched a few of my videos, you may have seen this, what was affectionately nicknamed the Gimp Door by my friends, and wondered, what's behind there? Well, the leak is coming from there. I know there's a bit of a damp issue in there, so we're going to open it up and investigate. Are you ready? It's kind of boring. This space actually goes underneath the path that runs alongside my house. Because it's a stone path and the stones have moved over the years, it was letting little bits of water through. I used to catch these bits of water in buckets down here. But then I tried to do a video by building this entire frame, putting a plastic sheet across the top to catch all the drips, and have them run all the way down a pipe into the well at the other side of the basement. It kinda worked, but as you can see by the moisture here, the damp wood there, didn't work very well. But there is no excessive leaks, there's no fractured walls anywhere, which is good. So if anyone knows how I can seal the top section of this so it stops dripping, that would be really useful, because then I could use it as storage. But I probably do need to dismantle this thing because there is a lot of mold buildup. Plus there's some nice chunks of wood that I could use for the workshop rebuild. Now that I've got the wood off, it looks pretty interesting because the condensation seems to be the worst problem. Like, there is no way for water to pass through this, yet there is just tons of water just stacked up. That side as well, along the back. So yeah, it actually did work, it just seems that condensation's the problem. My house is over 200 years old. That door has probably been there for a lot of decades. It's super rotten. That's generating loads of condensation because there's no airflow. So I'm gonna remove the door.
At this point, I was really glad I just spent 3 hours cleaning my floor. Now, I was hoping some of this would have been salvageable because I love sticking pieces of my old house in my work, but it was just all rotten and yeah, horrible. So, cleaned up and disposed of everything. After that, I decided to tidy some of my tools onto the pallet wall.
We're breaking up, I don't know why. I know you've been fooling around.
Hey, on my basement problems keep getting worse. Getting down to check how wet it was and make sure there's no more floods. See if this is full of water again. And see if there's any leaks on the floor. There's a tiny puddle down here. I think it's coming from here because I saw some drops around this bit. Apart from that, it seems fine. But then I stood on this piece of stone and
water seemed to be coming out of the floor. And the bit below my step has been broken for a while, so I decided to remove it. This down here is actually the well that I've mentioned earlier in the video, built into the house because it's ancient and the water flows down here. Now what I think's happened is the step had fallen in, blocked it, and it directed all the water underneath these flags here. So I'm going to dig it out and find some stuff to shore it up so it just flows that way, not underneath the stones. See if that fixes it.
That hasn't worked either. There's still stones you step on and water comes up from the ground. There's still water collecting down there, even though I keep sweeping it away. And all these stones should be a light grey and they are completely dark. And that means that there must be a large water build-up underneath my basement, which I'm pretty certain is related to the collapsed path outside. So there's a small reservoir on a hill in that direction, and then there's lots of different water courses or drainage channels that run underneath all the houses and go that way towards the river. Now the collapse path is over that way. Now if one of those water courses has fallen in, that would cause the path to collapse and it would reroute the water into my basement, which is obviously quite worrying because one, it's destroying the stones. This used to be quite flat when I first moved in and now they're all over the place. But two, it could have effects on my house. We made the council aware about 5 weeks ago. They kept on saying it's a path, it's not their responsibility, when in fact it's the water course, which is their responsibility. So I think they're taking care of it now, but who knows how long that's going to take. Because the majority of the problem is over there and there's still a massive mold issue, I'm going to dismantle that workbench.
And here's how bad the mold problem is on this side of the basement. We've actually got mold growing on metal, we've got giant lumps of mold, and we've got like a mold network of veins running across the frame.
That's it. The workshop's gone. Obviously, I do want to rebuild it, but just being down here today, there's stones moving around. There's some stones that are splitting. There's still water coming up from the floor. I feel like just being down here could potentially cause more damage. So I really need to wait until the problem is solved. It's obviously quite a serious problem. If it gets any worse, I could end up with a hole in my basement like there is in the path, or it could end up affecting my foundations. So the workshop would be the least of my concerns. But I'm going to stay positive and start making plans for a rebuild, and I would love your ideas. First of all, how do I make this better? Or how do I stop the stones from leaking so I can turn this into a really nice storage area? Is my face in? I don't know. Is any of this wood salvageable? Or do I just need to throw it away and go and buy some new wood? If I do get new wood to rebuild the basement, what do I do to stop it going mouldy again? Or is there a special wood I should buy that is more moisture resistant? Not a massive fan of what I did to store the clamps. Someone dropped me a video where it shows me a better way of storing them.
And I also need better ventilation and extraction because dust keeps going up into my house. Now this section here does go just underneath the path outside, so maybe I can do something where I vent the fine dust. I don't know. Give me ideas. Give me ideas.
I need to improve this section because I end up dumping stuff on there and then I can't get to the drawers. How do I make this better? Pretty sure I'm going to do a long workbench down this side again, but I'm going to make it taller this time. And I need a way of storing my power tools so they don't end up everywhere. And Turgworks suggested making one of those roll-in, movable bench thingies that I can have my table saw on. I like that idea. I don't know how well it's going to work with this floor, but yeah, send me suggestions for some of those. Or I could possibly have the main workbench across this side and then the rolling workbench could live on this side. The only problem with that is working around the stone table. It's a bit of a pain to get around. Maybe even improvements to the back wall, improvements to the wood storage, whatever you've got, drop it in the comments. There's videos showing me how to do it even better. Yeah, hopefully this isn't the last video, but if it is, it's been awesome getting feedback, talking with you guys in the comments. It's been cool. Fingers crossed it's not. Not much else to say. See you in the next one, hopefully.